Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I am your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with Tim Hanna from Hanna Digital Design. Tim runs a 3D design company, so that I've certainly used him for probably the past 5 or 6 years, I reckon. So sending him our 2D plans and he converts them into 3D images and renders. And it's been an amazing thing for the design side of our business to present to clients. So I only had the idea to get him on last week and then couldn't work out why it took me so long to get him on because I had a lot of questions that I wanted to ask him. I was just curious about the business. So it's one of those things where I present this podcast for people to listen to, but I also do it for my own entertainment and enjoyment and curiosity. So I loved having a chat to Tim and finding out what it's like running a business in Vietnam and all the challenges and benefits of doing that. And it was as interesting as I hoped it would be. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Tim Hanna. Tim, thank you for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. My first question for you is, how did you start in the industry?
Nice to see you, Joel. I started I started as a horticulturalist. I'm from New Zealand, moved to Melbourne in 2006, and did an apprenticeship when I was in 2007. Just love the plants, love the gardens. So did an apprenticeship in parks and gardens at Fairfield campus. Yeah, I was an older apprentice, maybe like, well, not that old, but I was like 23. I think everyone was, under 18, apart from three of us. We had a great time. Just got on really well with the teachers as well. Like they were older, and the kids I think were told to go and do something where we wanted to do it.
Mm.
We wanted to study. So yeah, we had a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I was 21 when I started my apprenticeship, and I felt old then as well. But then,
Yeah, because there were 16-year-olds in the class, and we were 23. That's a bit of a gap, like that sort of age.
mm,
Yeah, 21. Yeah, so most people are 18, and they get out of school, have to do something.
yeah, and it is like I had also that same challenge, whereas I wanted to be there, but there were people in the class who just were there because they have to be, and it's not it's good if everyone wants to be there because you learn a lot more and enjoy it.
It was frustrating. You felt sorry for the teachers as well. And
Yeah.
they can't do a lot, right? We couldn't really tell them off. It's not that sort of, I mean, maybe 30 years ago you could, but yeah, but we benefited from that because the teachers just gave us more attention. So, yeah, we sort of were lucky in that way.
So who were you working for at the time?
I did my apprenticeship with two companies, Landscape Discoveries and Exquisite Gardens.
All right.
So I was very fortunate as well because Parks and Gardens was the apprenticeship, but I did residential um, maintenance, and yeah, I loved it. So both of them were really good. Landscape Discoveries, you had like little botanical gardens everywhere. Everyone just had these mini, botanical gardens. They were great gardens to work in. And then went to Exquisite halfway through, and they were like just these big mansions and award-winning gardens, massive, massive gardens. So it was cool having the two different, varieties. And I sort of ran them as well, even though I was an apprentice. So I sort of had apprentices under me. But yeah, it was good fun.
So, and how long were you at those two jobs for?
I think it was 2 years and 2 years. And the day that I finished my apprenticeship, I ended up working for myself, going out and doing that, and had a couple of teams doing all the maintenance and doing Zurich and Brighton and some amazing gardens, amazing clients, some not so amazing. Um, but I had some clients that were just, they just let you do whatever you wanted. It was just, they'd give you the keys to their beach house as well. Like they were just, you became friends with them.
Yeah.
Lovely people. I'm still in contact with them now. But yeah, you had some that just, they just try to wind you down, bust you, try to get every little inch out of you. And, at the time, I mean, I felt sorry for my staff. Like some jobs you'd come into, they wouldn't even acknowledge the staff. They'd only want to talk to me. And I thought, well, you could at least say hello. But then you had these other clients who knew every single one, knew, how many brothers and sisters they had, their dog's name, the work. So just genuine people, but still with a lot of money. Yeah, lovely people.
Yeah, those people are getting a better job done for as well because you repay that kindness to them.
yeah, you're right. Like the staff, they go that extra mile, right? And they'd give them like $50 bonus on their Christmas or their birthday or something like that. Yeah, you could see it when they're there. They're just going hard, especially with the maintenance where you sort of, you've got to do two or three jobs in a day. It's go, go, go. Yeah, you're right. They just go the extra mile.
And had you learnt much about business from the two companies you worked at?
Yes, yes. I mean, they were both good companies, like, and had great clients as well. But I sort of ran the maintenance. Yeah, I sort of learned as I went. Yeah, and I mean, I'm still learning. But yeah, it's what would I have taken out of it is just I hated the fact that I was always chasing the money. And in maintenance, it's a little bit different, I guess, to construction. Is you might be owed $1,000 from 25 people, and it's a lot of money, right? And it adds up, and it's all sort of labor. Like we didn't have to pay suppliers or anything. It was more that's hourly. You've earned that money. And even though it's $1,000 for them, it's nothing. But when you've got 25 of them, it's just
Yeah,
the cash flow was quite difficult and stressful. Where the business now, like you get paid up front, you don't chase it. So it's
yeah.
totally different in that respect. Yeah.
Did you know much about how to charge the right amount for what you're
Then
doing?
back then with yeah, I just went off the guys that I worked for, and back then it was like $45. I don't even know what it is now, but that was $45 an hour. Um, And I guess with the maintenance, it was more like an hourly rate. And you had those good clients, they knew you weren't going to rip them off or anything. So it was 45 per person. Some of the old Italian ones were like, oh, I'll give you $40 cash, but the cash, I don't know how they can do that now.
Yeah, it's wild. Just give him a brown paper bag.
Yeah, that's it.
And what was the most staff you had at the time with the maintenance?
What would I have had? Maybe six. Yeah. So just small, but they clients all wanted me there. That was the problem. So when you had the two crews, it was like you can't be in two places at the one time. And because you have that relationship with them all, like I understand where they're coming from. And yeah, that made it difficult as well. I guess looking back at it, you'd do it if you did it with someone else doing the maintenance, and the two of you can have a crew, and then I'm not sure how that would work, but yeah, you can't be in two places at once. That's the problem.
No. What was the business called?
T Hanna Gardens. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
good.
I just kept the name Hannah in the last. Well, most people think I'm a girl. Uh, they're like, "Hey, Hannah," I'm like, "Oh, it's Tim."
You got a very deep voice, Hannah.
Yeah, yeah. What's going on?
But yeah, that's the same. Like when you think of someone like Ian Barker doing maintenance, like he's got his name attached to the business, but he's not out there doing it. So there's a point where you can sort of handball it off.
How many crews? I mean, I used to see he must have had 10 vans when I was doing it.
Yeah,
You'd always see him around. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a couple of them. There was who else was there? So that Simon McCurley was it? Simon
I'm McCurdy, yeah.
McCurdy. I think he had a few trucks around as well. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I think the maintenance is different. Like a lot of construction companies try to do the maintenance, and I'm not sure if it does as well.
No, definitely not.
Especially if you're like looking after the gardens that you've built, and there's a dead plant, one dead plant out of 1,000, and they're like the client doesn't want to pay for it because you put it in. And it's like you've got to be paying for that. And I noticed that with some of the construction boys, and it's like, oh, it's just one bad plant. Like it's nobody's fault. And you planted it 2, 3 years ago. And it's like they sort of want everything for nothing because they've spent 300,000 on the job. And
Yeah,
they think, well, you can maintain it, and it just doesn't work like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I reckon most landscape construction companies would have dabbled in maintenance at some stage, but and that's a good way to realise that you're better off having specialists do it. So people who just do that, not do both and chop and change.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And it's like I never tried to do the paving and like do
Yeah,
a big job. You do your friend's backyard or your own backyard, but I wasn't gonna get paid to do it. To take someone's money, to do that. So I was quite lucky with it that they had a big crew back then, and when a lot of the guys go out and for themselves, so I just palm the jobs off to them, and then they would palm maintenance ones off to me. It just worked well, but kept getting clients, they kept getting busy, and even if it was just a little 20, 30 square meter job, just a good fill in, few days work, and good for them. And my client, and I trusted them. I'd seen their work before, which was great. A lot of them are working for themselves now. So
So how long were you doing that business for?
I was in Melbourne for 10 years, so 2007 to 2017. So that's probably 6 years. So 4 years, study, do the apprenticeship, and then 6 years. I love doing it, to be honest. Like, I just love getting in there. Like, you come home just like covered in scratches, and it just felt good, And I don't know, it's you guys probably get like big bruises and got dropping a paper on your arm or whatever, and you just would get scratches, and get home picking thorns out of your fingers. Never wore gloves. It was just like, oh, it was just been really enjoyable. Yeah, I do miss it.
So what was the catalyst to wrapping it up?
I tried to get the guy, like my main guy, to take over. Didn't work out too well. He sort of lost interest, went back to Ballarat. Yeah, just said to some friends who were in the maintenance, I said, "Oh, you need a client. You want some, you want some." Didn't want to give everyone because I had quite a few clients, sort of just palm them off to some people that I trusted. Yeah, it was unfortunate because we moved overseas. I was thinking we never knew if we were going to stay overseas, so I wanted to keep it, alive as much as possible to come back to, but we never came back. So yeah.
So you just decided to move overseas, did you? So that was the reason behind wrapping it up?
So my wife's she's from New Zealand, well, she's New Zealand Australian, and she was in the garment or is in the garments industry. So everything gets made in China or Vietnam, what you're wearing. And she got poached by a UK company, and uh, so everything gets made in Vietnam. But she would sell to Australia, so she'd sell to the Meyer and Solomon Lew, all his companies. But she worked for both of them, so it was sort of like smart business by them because she's selling to people that she worked with, and she's
Yeah.
selling the product that they need. So she did really well. So I'd started like because being a gardener, you're always looking to improve the gardens. So I was learning SketchUp, did a couple of courses on SketchUp, and then just learning online. And I remember we're working at this guy's house, and he's a brain surgeon, like one of the smartest people in the world, probably. And we're showing him this 2D plan, and I could see in his eyes that he had no idea what we're talking about, And he thought, oh, hang on, And then, so I went home, did a few things on SketchUp over the weekend, went back to him and said, oh, this is what we're talking about with the levels. He's like, oh, his eyes lit up, he is definitely a different person that day, 2 days before. So yeah, I got into that before we left, and then I thought, oh, well, I can I just need a computer and internet, and I can work anywhere. So that's what I thought. And then, well, we just didn't know if we were going to like it either. Like, it's a big change to go, move overseas. From New Zealand to Australia is a piece of cake, but when you go into Asia, you just never know.
Yeah. Had you been there before?
Yeah, a lot, admittedly. So every winter, being a gardener, say July was like, you want to get out of Melbourne.
Mm.
So for 3 weeks a year, we'd always go away. And when you work for yourself, I never had holidays other than that. Well, Christmas, just Christmas, but yeah, every July it was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We went to Europe a few times, but we'd always stop in Asia. I'm not that tall. I'm only 6 foot, but it was more like I can't fly all the way there. The legs and the body just doesn't approve of it. So yeah, it was but you never know what you're getting yourself into when you live there. On holidays, completely different. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I see that every day. Yeah.
So, so how did you start building up things there? Oh,
Uh, well, I did a couple of freebies with some people, and then just said like, oh, I'll put it on Instagram, post it on Instagram. Yeah, back then, and my renders weren't that good compared to my team. What my team produce now. But at the time, it was good. When I look at them now, I'm like, oh god. But yeah, so I did a few freebies and then like got a couple of clients and then it's just as simple as like they tag you. Then someone sees that and then you just keep getting approached. You get more followers that way. Yeah, it was all Instagram and it was all free advertising. Never had to pay for it. Done a couple of ads in that recently, but that was for more like technical drawings and that. But for the landscapes, it was just it's almost like you want what the Joneses have, and
Mm.
someone sees your name there, and you just get approached, and yeah. So I was very fortunate, really. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the best ways for advertising is for people to be recommending your business because that's how I found out about you, and that's how other people have as well.
yeah, 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 and especially like if you've got, and we've done the garden shows and that we get I don't know how many a year, quite a lot, and they always win, and the renders are exactly the same as what the garden is because it's the garden show, right? There's nothing you need to change really,
Mm.
and yeah, that helps as well. Like they see that and they put your name on the flyer or something like that. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It really helps.
And so when you started doing those designs, was it just SketchUp and just only using SketchUp, or were you also using another program?
Yeah, Lumium. We started off with Lumium. Sometimes SketchUp, yeah, just like just a really basic, just go the levels and that. But yeah, Lumium, and then started getting like more and more work, and I thought, oh, well, what am I going to do? I thought, well, we should try and grow the business, and I'm here in Vietnam. I should, you know, see who's out there. And my first guy, Hal, who's I've never lost a staff member, so like they're all still got him, and he's great. Hal, he's about 42. He's the oldest in the group, and they all look at him as like a father figure. It's just the culture, right? He's just like gave himself the management title just because he's the oldest. It's just the way it works. But he's fantastic. And then you got more and more clients, and then I said, "Oh, what are we going to do, Hal?" And he just got someone from the university. Well, he's friends with the one of the teachers there, and he said, "Oh, this guy's looking for a job." So Kang came along, and Kang got his friend Dat, and then that, yeah, just worked like that. And yeah, they're like the culture is totally different. Yeah, it's amazing being here and seeing the culture and that. And they're so close. Like you can't have someone come into the office if they don't like them. Like it just wouldn't work. They all have to be friends.
Yeah.
Where Australia and New Zealand. I mean, I've never worked in an office over there, but you can imagine it's a fair bit of bickering and someone's not. No one gets on, but in Vietnam, I think they all get on in the office. Like if someone's mother gets hurt or like has a motorbike accident or is sick, they all pitch in, put money in, like just look after each other. Yeah, it's really nice actually.
Yeah, my old man started working in, like he's been working dry cleaning most of his life, but he started somewhere new, and there's a lot of Thai workers there, and he said the same thing about them. They all just get along really well, all extremely respectful, all care about everyone's family, and yeah, and also
Yeah,
insanely hard workers as well.
yeah, yeah. My guys, like they. So I was having. I just finished the meeting, and I was on the sofa, and in the office, and then one of the guys I was chatting away to him, and he's like, "Oh, Tim, sorry, I can't talk. I've got to go to work." I'm like, I pay you. I just could talk to me. It's the mindset, though. It's just like I've got this job. I have to get it done. Like that's my duty, and that's what they're. Yeah, they're all like that. I don't make them do overtime, and in their contract, it's like they work half a day Saturday. I say no, no Saturdays. Don't do overtime. You do. They just go hard from 8:30 to 5:30. They do not talk. They do not talk at all. It's just click, 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 click. It does my head in sometimes because I'm like, let's just turn them off and let's just have a chat. But they're just that's their mindset, and they have an hour and a half for lunch, and they'll smash their lunch in 20 minutes, and then they all roll out their mats and have a sleep in the office
Yeah,
or on the
right.
floor. So that's also another cultural thing that's take a while to get used to. Because I'd sort of work through my lunch and I'd be like, oh, I feel bad because I'm the one clicking, and they're trying to have a sleep. So that's why I head home for lunch these days.
Yeah, it's like the siesta.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it came from the Spanish. Yeah, and they all do it. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. But they sleep. They go to bed so late. Like the coffee shops at 11 o'clock at night. Coffee shops are full. It's like,
Right.
I mean, I don't have a coffee after 12, after lunch. I don't need it.
So what's the computer systems like? Is it easy to get the right stuff you need?
Yeah, yep. We updated all our graphics cards, well, probably 12 months ago. And it was like hiring two or three new people. Like it's
Yeah,
so much
right.
faster. The quality was so good. The guys thought it was their Christmas. They were all so happy, and I'm like, really? You're that excited over this? So it was, but they are amazing. It's expensive, but hey, you got to having the best equipment. It's like you guys, just have to have the good tools, and yeah, these things they're incredible. So, and the software, we sort of updated our software because everyone was sort of using Lumion, and everyone's got the same sort of look and feel. And we ended up getting into a couple of other softwares, still keeping the price down, like with Vantage software, and the difference in quality, like, and like you throw in the grout, you can show the screws and the deck,
Yeah,
the
right.
the stonework, everything just looks better. It takes a little bit longer, but it's still, the price is still so good because of where we are. But the quality, yeah, there's just so much nicer. So for the garden shows and that, I think I just did them in the better software, for the clients, just for them. Even if they didn't ask for it, I was just like, oh, you're just going to get it.
Yeah,
Just
because they're so small, such small projects as well compared to what you'd normally do.
yeah, so the details so much more important. Yeah, so even like someone gave us a job, it was only 100 square meters, no, 150, yeah, and I was just like, just do it in the better software, like because it's just going to look so much better. That was a Bree Graham and Sydney, and it just
Yep.
looked awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Have you kept like track of how many people you work, like how many clients you've got, like how many people you've done designs for?
Uh, we've, uh, we've probably got about. I did look at this the other day. 60 clients that we would have done. We've got some clients we do 30 jobs a year
Yeah, right.
for. I think what some designers or a lot of them are doing now is they're in their design package is just including the 3D. Like,
Yeah.
don't give their information, right? It's just that's what you're getting. So I know some people do the two options, and then they're trying to save costs, or I'm not sure, but it's good for us. Yeah, so you just sort of that client's going to pump out two to three a month. We've got quite a few of them, so yeah, we're never short of work. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just then the guys just get it done. So it's yeah, it's a pretty stress, not much stress, which is kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've considered doing is just including it in the price and not offering it because when you offer it, that's the first thing that people take out. But when you present it to them, like that's what blows their socks off and makes the whole process like an amazing thing that to get presented with.
Yeah, yeah, and to sell it to yeah, and I mean if they're going to spend a few hundred thousand on a construction, what five to $1,000, 500 to $1,000 for a
Yeah.
3D,
Yeah.
yeah, it's no brainer. Yeah, yeah, I don't know because I mean our prices are sort of like we're based in Vietnam, so it's so reasonable. Where in Australia they might be five times more, right? Like even more. So yeah, I think I'm sort of lucky because I've worked in the gardens, I've worked in the industry in Australia, but I'm based here, and they deal with me. My staff they don't want to talk to because their English is good to me, but they're shy. They don't want to talk, and they just click click click.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. And also, like, do they ask you many questions about certain designs? Like, if they're not understanding something about the design.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Straight away they'll ask me. They sort of pick up on levels in that with the job. They're like, "Oh, this doesn't make sense." The architect's drawings to the landscape's not making sense, and you send it, and the client loves it because they're like, "Oh, thanks for making my mistake. You've helped me."
Mm.
And they've been doing it. Like my team have been doing it for so long now that they know plants now. They know Australian natives, but they would never have seen one. But they know all the plants. You know they can't pronounce them, but most people in Australia can't pronounce them.
So, and how many other countries are you doing designs in?
Got a couple of American clients, and said that's where the team don't like because it's all in inches and feet. So it's sort of like they definitely prefer the Australian metric system.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, if you're in America, they don't do the tagging or like they don't post or they post the jobs, the 3Ds, but they don't tag you in it, which is a shame because I think America, I think, would be hard to get into. But with Australia, because I worked with people like Dave Franklin was at Exquisite, and he, all those guys that works for him that who all went out on their own, they all know me. So it's sort of like you trust me because you know me. But in America, it's like you're trying to get into a just that whole the American industry. It would be it's kind of hard. So I haven't really bothered, and I haven't needed to. Yeah, it's something I would look to do because they do have some beautiful gardens. It's like that's what I enjoy. I like looking at all the architecture of the gardens. You still feel like you're part of the industry, right? Like even though we're just doing the 3Ds, you still like to see the new gardens coming along, the new themes, the new yeah up and coming designers, and even the ones that have been around a while. Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see like all the projects that you would design and then get to follow along and see them get built.
yeah, that's right. And it's like, hey, that plant wasn't there in the 3Ds, but take it out. But it is cool. Like, and I show my staff that, and they love it. Like that's their you can just see the smile on their face. They're just like, oh, they feel proud. Like, they contributed.
Yeah.
And they'd go home and they'd show their family, and their family would be happy for them. So, no, it is really rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
that's
like those 3Ds and like the after, once it's built, when they're next to each other. And
yeah.
some people, like, they don't know which one's which. And
Mm.
it's like, oh, they've done their job well.
Yeah, because that's exactly right. That's what I was about to say is how that's they're not going to know how well they've done their job until it actually gets finished. And then yeah, and when you see it, it looks exactly the same. That's the biggest compliment.
That's right. I think last time I saw you was the garden show. Was that
2023,
two?
that was.
So I took photos of all the gardens. I think we did about 8 that year. And when I went and showed them when I got back, they were just like over the moon. And
Yeah.
all that one gold medal, and they're like, super excited. And I was like, yeah, that's for them.
So how many staff have you got now?
I've got eight.
Yeah,
Eight.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So the electricity bill's big with those computers going.
Yeah.
But they're like I said, they're really good. They're all friends. I take them out, like go out for dinner, and that's when they talk during work hours and won't say anything. But you go out for dinner, and they eat so much. I tell you, and they're all little. They're tiny,
Yeah.
and I'm just like I'm full after. I swear they bring like 6 different dishes, and then they finish with a pot. I'm like, when's this going to finish? And I'm 3 times the size of them, but they just put it away.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that as well.
But it's good. It's good to take them out and sort of like do the team building, even though they're so close. It's good that they're more relaxed. They just you know they're yeah. I quite enjoy it taking them out, and we're going to go. I think at Christmas time we might go somewhere like as a team just for a couple of days. Go to another city. A couple of them haven't been to the big cities. Their village is like only 200 kilometers from Da Nang, so we could just go to the big city for 2 days, be tourists in your own country. But yeah, something to think about.
And do you do any local designs?
No, I, it's here, like, as I said before, like we get paid up front and then we do the job. And I refuse to chase money since the gardening days. And yeah, apparently you chase it for like over a year.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, I'm not bothered, yeah. I've done a few like just with friends. They've got a villa or rent a villa or something like that. And yeah, I've done some work for them. And then I like sort of helping them, do the gardens. I do like a bit of volunteer work as well at orphanages and do the gardens there, which is quite cool. Like, just you sort of helping the children, and then you do herbs and vegetables, and then they can use them at the orphanage and things like that, which is really cool. So at least I get my hands dirty, I feel good afterwards. But like because you don't do it that often, so I was going to the orphanage once a month, And then that orphanage ran out of funding, unfortunately. Every day, the next day, like your body was, it just felt so good because every part of the body was sore, you know? I miss that feeling, you
Yeah, I
know?
love that feeling.
Yeah, I do. I really love it. I'm like, I just feel so good. I'm so sore. I can't sit down, but I just like it. It just,
Yeah, you've actually done something that's good.
yeah, yeah, you feel so good. Yeah, yeah. And then like the orphanage, I've got another one I go to, but I just play table tennis with the children. They've already got a garden all set up and that. And so I just donate a table and play it like once a month and just help out where you can, you know. But yeah, it's when you get that soreness, you know, after a month of not doing it, it's like, oh, it feels so good.
Yeah. Um, with like the big shock when I started using you was how affordable it is to get the design done. So how do the pay rates compare what they're getting paid compared to like a normal job? Like, is it they get paid
Well,
good?
my staff, I paid them really good, and that's why they don't leave as well, right? So if they were to someone else, like another company in where we live, they'd probably get half
Yeah, right.
the wage. Yeah. So my first guy, Hal, he worked for the government. He's a landscape architect, and he was only getting like $400 a month. So, you know, and that was a long time. That was 2017. So I was like, oh, well, there's $1,000, you know, come work full time. And then, yeah, so, uh, yeah, my staff get paid double than what everyone else gets, but that's why their friends are like, well, one guy, we wanted him to come and work for us, and he said, oh, I've been looking for this big company. And we said, oh, okay, no worries. And he was quite good. He did a couple of jobs for us freelance. We had to get a couple of freelancers in the past, just because we didn't know whether we needed to expand or not. So we got a freelancer or two. It just didn't work out. They have so many jobs on, and they tell you one thing and do the other. And yeah, like I think that's why we're so busy as well. We have a company, we're set up as a company and not freelancers. So we tell you when your job's going to be done. If you want it done in 2 days, but it's realistically free, we tell you free. There's only that many hours in the day. Like the job's going to take 30 hours, but you want it in 24. It's like, well, for the sake of it, we're just going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where freelancers sort of just yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you get let down or like you're just working all night just to get something done. So yeah, we don't do the freelancers. They're hard work.
Can you see yourself like increasing the size of the business bigger than what it is now?
Yeah, I think so. We're doing elevation drawings for interior designers and architects. So just all those detailed drawings, and those things take hours and hours and hours of work. And if you're an interior designer, or building designer, maybe you're a small team of two or three, they've been palming it off to us, and it's like 40 hours work, which they don't have to do, and it's tedious. They can just give it to us to do, and yeah, so we're getting more and more of them, which I think is good because like with the whole AI thing coming through, AI is not doing that just yet. I'm not sure when it will, but I think there's a good, a lot of opportunities for that to grow. Yeah, one guy might only be able to do two jobs a month, so I've got two guys doing that who do the 3D as well. Uh, I think that's a good way to grow as well.
And do you find people like some of your employees like doing things more than others, or like do they ever get annoyed at having to do those boring, tedious stuff?
No, they don't. And I think because a lot of our clients like a particular style of render or their own style that we've done in the past. They're like, oh, can you do it like this? So they're not doing the same style of render every job. So yeah, the lighting's always different. Yeah, like which is good. So it's always different. Every job's different for them. And then with the some of the high end jobs and your jobs, with all the different levels in that, it's more challenging, obviously, and I think it's more rewarding for them as well. There's some of the big jobs, yeah, like I just give to say three of them, the jobs that I'm like, well, there's a Steve Taylor job last week before, I just gave it to the number one guy because this job was crazy. Like the level, the detail. I was like, yeah, you can take the time.
They are unique designs that he does.
Oh, I tell you what, like I've been working for Steve for maybe 3 years or something. I'm not sure how long, but the first time they sent a job, he did this hand sketch, and I'm like, this hand sketch is so much better than my 3Ds. My 3Ds, you know. And I know it takes time, right? And if you've got to change things, it's obviously more and more time. But I'm like, this is just pure art, you know. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah. So my best friend's an artist, and I showed him, and he's just like, oh, that's awesome, you know. And but no, he's a good guy, good client.
and a lot of the hand drawing stuff, he does some of that stuff when he's on site, just stand there with the client and then
Mhm.
says, "Here, is this? What do you think
Yeah,
of this?"
yeah, just free will, like, yeah. I mean, incredible. I mean, that's why he's so good. And the clients just must get blown away. It's like, how
Yeah,
can you just come here, and do that? No one has to do that. Not that I know of. Yeah.
yeah. So have you got like what sort of warehouse space have you got? Like, have you got a big office?
Office, our office is, we're in the middle of the city. You'll probably freak out. We're on the top floor, which is only the sixth floor, but we've only got like 60 square meters. We only pay like $500 Australian a month, and we're right in the middle of the city. And yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, our street's so good as well. There's a river running through the city of Da Nang, and our street doesn't connect to the river, so we don't get the traffic going through. Our street doesn't flood. We've got all these pros, like everything floods around it during rainy season, but our street's just like completely fine. Um, and I signed the contract for like 5 years as well, like just last year at that price, and it's like, wow, like, it's crazy, you know. I think my electricity bill's almost that, and
Yeah,
that's my
right.
rent. Yeah, because in summer it's so hot, you have two air cons and they're just pumping, and then the computers and that.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I pay like $300 in electricity and then 500 in rent. Yeah, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's wild. So was it a struggle when you started out to to sort of run a business internationally?
Um, no, no, because I just knew so many people in the landscape industry in Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and because of Instagram, if you tag someone in a job or they tag you, their friend will ask them, "Oh, what's he like? And is he overseas? Oh, is that how that goes? Oh, well, used to live here and he worked as a gardener. So, yeah, I think some people you probably lose jobs because you are overseas. I think that's their problem. Like I can't do much about it, and yeah, you can go pay someone in Australia 1,000 times more.
yeah.
That everyone's got that. It's a decision. The one client they had was from New Zealand, and they said, "Oh, because they say we invoice up front, and then we do the job, deliver within 7 business days, unless it's an absolute monster. It might take 10. Or, I tell them how long it would take." This New Zealander, he was like, "Oh, my wife wants to know if it's legit," and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, go to Instagram and just click on the people that I've tagged. Ask them. Like, I don't need to deal with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like $400. It was like like, oh, couldn't be
yeah,
bothered.
yeah. Like when you started, so what, 8 years ago, it's people that like there's less people using overseas companies then, but these days, like it happens all the time.
Yeah, I think with COVID, I think a lot of people were started using them more. We got busier at COVID, so COVID sort of actually helped our business, which is, I guess, in Australia with the lockdowns, people in Melbourne and Sydney, and that they're looking at their house or their garden, they're stuck home for so long, they're like, we're not going overseas to Europe or whatever. We got all this cash, let's spend it on doing things up, and why we just how many staff did we have before COVID? I think we went from 4 to 8. Like we got four in that year, and then yeah, it's because we had that's where it really started to pump.
And what was COVID like in Vietnam? Well,
Yeah, it was pretty strange. Like we didn't have it for like the first year because they closed the borders and they were so strict. But when we got it, we are in an apartment and they locked it down where you weren't allowed to leave your apartment. You weren't allowed to take the dog for a walk. I was like taking the dog down the fire escape for a walk. And or before that, they did like a lot like it with a curfew. And so here, it's sort of you can bribe and that. So I gave this guy $10. He was a security guard. I went out at 3:30 in the morning to walk my dog because I thought no one else is going to be there. I just ran for 15 minutes with her, like came back in. The next day I go, the security guard was asleep. So for the next week, I shouldn't have given him $10 because the security guard was asleep every time. But then it hit like the big lockdown, and that lasted maybe 3 or 4 months, where you could get we didn't have vegetables for like a week because everything was in Vietnamese. They were just dropping chicken and rice off to people, not around. We're in apartments, so not to us. But I then a friend of mine, a Vietnamese, had a veggie farm in another city, and he was allowed to deliver to our city, so he was delivering once a month all these veggies. So we're stuck, yeah, 3 months. No, like we had a balcony, so on the weekend, my wife and I would go and have lunch on the balcony, and we thought that was going out. You know, yeah, like that was pretty full on. Like you people, they had like the full army, the guns and that. You couldn't. We got when we got our vaccine, and here you had to get it. It was the most vaccinated country in the world.
Yeah,
We
right.
weren't allowed to go anywhere. Once the lockdown was over, you had to show your QR code to say that you'd been vaccinated, or you weren't allowed in the shop.
Yep.
And we were the last ones to get it, my wife and I, because they had the European ones and they used it for the elderly. And as it went down, and they ran out, and they only had the Chinese one. But at the time, New Zealand and Australia didn't approve of the Chinese one. So if we wanted to go back because we didn't know what was happening, we couldn't get into our own countries. So my wife's colleague was a big doctor. Her mother was a big doctor at a hospital. So it's not what you know, it's who you know here. And she got us the AstraZeneca, but we had to drive 17 kilometers on a moped scooter to go get it. But we had to go through like 7 different districts, and they all were like the big armies with the guns. And it was just so crazy because I drive like, they drive so crazy, but there's just no one on the road. So it was like I was more scared because there was no one. I just like you're driving, you're like, where you're just waiting for like the madness to happen, and it never happened. So yeah, COVID was very strange here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said to my kids when it was happening, like it's just wild if you had have said what's going to happen like a year before it happened. No one would believe you. Everything that it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
insane.
definitely. Yeah. I mean, Melbourne. My brother was in Melbourne, and you obviously. Oh, were you as bad as Melbourne?
Nah, we
You're
weren't. Nah, like we were,
yeah.
yeah, because Geelong they considered regional, so it was.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that was good because my brother was in Melbourne, and then when he left, they moved to Sydney, and then Sydney got a lockdown. So he worked out that he was the longest lockdown person in the world. Poor guy, 3 children.
Yeah, yeah, it was wild. But yeah, my kids loved being at home though, so it worked out well for them. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question for you, Tim, is who do you think would be a good guest to have on the podcast?
Oh, good guess. Let's go for. We had Nathan from Dreamscapes, New South Wales.
No, but I've seen that business around. So
Yeah, him and his wife Jackie, they're lovely. They do some really nice work. So
good.
yeah, Nathan.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll do that. Thank you very much for coming on. Absolutely loved hearing your side of the story. So yeah, it's good. When I just the other day when I had the idea to have you on, I thought I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner because I think it's awesome for people to get to know like you within the business. So not just seeing the business that you do. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, Joe.